Listen, listen. We have to discuss something involving Vince McMahon. We all know the chairman, of WWE. This man, he's did a lot, for professional wrestling, and I'm going to break it all down. But there's some serious news that's going on. Bottom line is, Vince, if you've been living under a rock, he has been in the midst of a serious scandal that's been going on. I don't know if it's a scandal, if it's official, but he's been alleged, to have been involved in some tough things. Now, we have all of this stuff going on with Sean Puffy Combs, and I just want to, point out Vince McMahon here, and like I said, the Vince, just like Diddy, did amazing things in their own professions, but when the stuff is coming out, it just is a bad situation, but Vince McMahon is very upset, of this whole situation with the Netflix coming out with this documentary called Mr. McMahon. And we see it here, Mastermind, Madman. Vince is proposing that he was just completely blindsided by these reporters and cameras, and they are remixing what they were brought in for. Vince is proclaiming his innocence in this whole situation. I believe the young lady's name is Janelle Grant. You got a lot of people involved in this, John Laurinaitis. If anybody knows WWE, who John Laurinaitis is, like I said, allegedly some other people or ex-UFC fighters, they had Lesnar's name all in it. Well, his name wasn't labeled in it, but they said everything but his name, but I want to read what Vince said. He says, I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes takes the predictable path and conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self. Vince, the title and promos alone make that evident. A lot, a lot has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks with out of context footage and dated sound bites, etc., to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am, in fact, Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides to every story. This is what Vince McMahon has put out, a statement on. And I want to give people what's going on with Vince. Because like I said, Diddy, the stuff going on with Diddy is just all out there. Diddy about to lose it all. They talking about he on this, he on that. Vince McMahon has already lost it all, ladies and gentlemen. The man created WWE. Bottom line is it came from his father. He revolutionized, professional wrestling. Wrestling used to be in territories, ladies and gentlemen. It never was this global thing where they going from state to state, country to country. It wasn't like this. You understand? Selling out 20,000, selling out AT&T Stadium, these big football. It wasn't like that, ladies and gentlemen. You understand? Wrestling used to be in the small territories, in the Southern Territory, the New York territories, Midwest, things like that. It would be the equivalent to, let's say the top, let's go back, let's go football, for instance. Imagine Patrick Mahomes in his own football league. He is the Super Bowl champion of that league, but there isn't no, Burrow, there isn't no Rodgers, there isn't no Brady. They are in their own league and, with their own sets of players and teams spread out all over the states. You understand? That's how wrestling used to be. Vince had the mind to combine everything, you understand, to turn it into a global phenomenon and basically buy out a lot of people. in doing that. So what's going? I say that to say this. Now Vince had to sell all his shares with W. The business that he created, he is no longer a part of it. We are living in the Paul Levesque era, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to Flight Sports TV if you want more news updates and more on this matter. But this is serious news. There was just WrestleMania that just passed. WrestleMania, XL. It don't get no bigger than that. You understand? Philadelphia, and Vince was nowhere to be found. You understand? They didn't even mention his name. It was a mess. And I was watching WrestleMania a little upset because I know Vince created that. You understand? And now that's the biggest thing. That's the Super Bowl of wrestling. You understand? People fly out country to country, you understand, to this one event. Mind you, Vince mortgaged his whole entire life savings on this one event that turned into a global phenomenon. If WrestleMania 1 did not work, it would have all been finished. You understand? There would be no WWE. There would be no big wrestling the way you see it is today. You understand? So it took this man to take it to that magnitude, and it's just a messed up situation, man. From these reports that I'm seeing with him as well, these are nasty reports, but what I will say is the situation with Miss Grant is they were supposedly, and Vince was in this affair, I think it was 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. Vince was paying this lady. Once Vince stopped paying her, then she went off on a tell-all. And I'm not here to disregard her feelings, because I here at Flight Sports, I don't condone anything that's in none of these stuff, in these statements. But I just have to tell you, man, this is a very tough situation, that Vince McMahon has found himself in, and now Netflix, they have completely capitalized on this. Mind you, WWE is moving to Netflix. They signed the Netflix deal. He was a part of all of this, So I don't know what happened here. You understand? But bottom line is Vince invited the cameras in, just to, run around with him and tell a story about his life. But now they have turned this into a situation that's going on right now in the climate. They are doing a serious cash. And I guess they own the rights, to all of the film. And you see they wheeling and dealing it, so it's just a tough situation right now, for everybody, but I'm about to watch this documentary. Let's get in the comment sections and let's talk. But bottom line is Vince McMahon has came out and spoken, in regards to this Netflix documentary titled Mr. McMahon, and he's not too pleased, with this situation. Let's see what happens, man. Let's see the ramifications. Listen, man, we're in a society now where it's supposed to be until you proven guilty, you guilty. Now it's just you guilty off of just you see where I'm going with this. This is a mess, man. But listen, let's see what happens. We're gonna be here to watch it, document it, report on it. It's Flight Sports TV. You already know what it is. Peace and love.